1 year from now, your life could be completely different. Or it could look exactly the same. The question is, which future are you building right now? Most people will hear this message and move on. They'll nod their heads. They'll say, "That's inspiring." And tomorrow, they'll wake up and repeat the same habits that have been holding them back for years. But a small percentage of people, a tiny percentage, will hear something in this message that hits differently. Something that wakes them up. Something that forces them to confront a truth they've been avoiding. And for those people, everything changes. Imagine standing at the edge of your future. Imagine seeing two versions of yourself. The first version stayed comfortable, stayed distracted, stayed afraid. The second version faced uncertainty, faced pain, faced failure, but kept moving anyway. Now ask yourself, which version deserves to live your life? Because every day, every hour, every decision, you are voting for one future or the other. And whether you realize it or not, the person you become is being created right now. Most people are not failing because they lack talent. They're failing because they're trapped. Trapped by fear. Trapped by excuses. Trapped by the stories they've been telling themselves for years. I'm not ready. I'll start next week. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. What if I fail? What if they laugh at me? What if it doesn't work? These questions become invisible chains. And eventually, people stop dreaming. Not because they can't achieve greatness, but because disappointment feels safer than hope. Think about that. How many people have buried their potential because they were afraid of being judged? How many brilliant ideas died inside someone's mind because fear convinced them to stay silent? How many lives were never transformed because someone kept waiting for the perfect moment? The tragedy isn't failure. The tragedy is never trying. There are people right now carrying dreams worth millions. Dreams that could change their family tree forever. Dreams that could inspire generations. And those dreams are collecting dust. Not because they're impossible, but because action was postponed. Again. And again. And again. Days become weeks. Weeks become months. Months become years. And suddenly one day they wake up wondering where all the time went. The truth is painful. Nobody planned to live an average life. Nobody wakes up as a child and says, "I hope I spend my life regretting what I could have become." But regret doesn't arrive all at once. It arrives slowly. Quietly. Disguised as comfort. Disguised as procrastination. Disguised as "I'll do it tomorrow." And tomorrow becomes a prison. A prison with invisible walls. The worst part? Most people never realize they're trapped. They become comfortable in their limitations. Comfortable in their excuses. Comfortable in their misery. Because misery becomes familiar. And familiar feels safe. But deep down, you know there's more inside you. You know you're capable of more. You know you're meant for something greater than surviving each day waiting for the weekend. That feeling in your chest. That restlessness. That frustration. That voice whispering, "This can't be all there is." That's not weakness. That's your potential calling you. Every transformation begins with a moment. A moment when excuses stop working. A moment when pain becomes impossible to ignore. A moment when staying the same becomes harder than changing. For one person, it's losing everything. For another, it's getting rejected. For someone else, it's looking in the mirror and no longer recognizing who they've become. But the turning point always begins with truth. The truth that no one is coming. No one is coming to hand you confidence. No one is coming to hand you discipline. No one is coming to build your dreams. No one is coming to save your future. And strangely, that's the most empowering realization you'll ever have. Because if nobody is coming, then the responsibility belongs to you. And if the responsibility belongs to you, then the power belongs to you too. Think about that. The same person who created the excuses can create solutions. The same mind that produced fear can produce courage. The same individual who spent years doubting themselves can spend the next years believing in themselves. Everything changes when ownership begins. One decision. That's all it takes. Not a guarantee. Not perfection. Not certainty. Just a decision. A decision that says, "I refuse to stay here. I refuse to let fear control my future. I refuse to waste the gifts I've been given." That moment changes everything. Not because circumstances instantly improve, but because you improve. And when you improve, your life follows. The movies get this part wrong. Transformation isn't one dramatic moment. It's thousands of small moments. Thousands of decisions nobody sees. The alarm rings. You don't want to get up. But you do. The workout hurts. You want to quit. But you continue. The business fails. You want to stop. But you try again. The world celebrates results. But results are born in private. At first, nothing changes. That's the hardest part. You work. You sacrifice. You struggle. And it feels like nothing is happening. The scale doesn't move. The business doesn't grow. The opportunities don't appear. The progress seems invisible. Most people quit here. Not because they're incapable, but because they expect immediate rewards. Yet greatness operates differently. Greatness rewards patience. Greatness rewards consistency. Greatness rewards those willing to keep going when there is no evidence that success is coming. A seed spends weeks growing beneath the surface before anyone sees a single leaf. Your growth works the same way. Before the world sees results, your roots must grow. Character grows. Discipline grows. Resilience grows. Belief grows. And every difficult day becomes part of the foundation. There will be mornings when motivation disappears. Days when doubt returns. Moments when old habits try to reclaim control. That is normal. The battle isn't against circumstances. The battle is against the version of yourself that wants comfort more than growth. The hardest conversations you'll ever have are the ones inside your own mind. The voice saying, "You're not good enough. You should quit. Who do you think you are?" And every time you move forward despite those voices, you win. Not because fear vanished, but because courage acted anyway. As Nelson Mandela once said, "I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it." Fear never disappears completely. But your relationship with it changes. You stop seeing fear as a stop sign. You start seeing it as proof that growth is near. Every challenge becomes training. Every setback becomes education. Every obstacle becomes preparation. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, you become stronger. Not because life became easier, but because you became harder to break. One day you realize something remarkable. The person who started this journey no longer exists. The weak mindset is fading. The excuses are losing power. The fear is shrinking. And confidence is growing. Not the loud confidence that seeks attention. The quiet confidence that comes from keeping promises to yourself. That confidence changes everything. Because when you trust yourself, you stop needing the world's permission. Then one day, the breakthrough arrives. Not as magic. Not as luck. But as the inevitable result of thousands of disciplined choices. The opportunities appear. The doors open. The results become visible. People call it overnight success. They never saw the years behind it. They never saw the sacrifices. They never saw the loneliness. They never saw the failures. But you know. You remember every difficult day. Every setback. Every moment you wanted to quit. And because of that, success means more. The greatest reward isn't money. It's not recognition. It's not status. The greatest reward is becoming someone you respect. Someone who keeps their word. Someone who follows through. Someone who doesn't run when life gets difficult. That's real success. Because external victories can disappear. But internal transformation lasts forever. You discover that freedom isn't about having everything. Freedom is knowing you can face anything. You discover confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. You discover purpose isn't found. It's created through action. And something extraordinary happens. Your transformation begins transforming others. Your courage gives someone else courage. Your discipline inspires discipline. Your growth becomes proof that change is possible. The ripple effect expands. One decision changes a life. One transformed life changes a family. One transformed family changes generations. Never underestimate the impact of becoming the person you're capable of becoming. Because the world needs what only you can offer. The gifts. The talents. The experiences. The lessons. The story. Someone out there needs to see you succeed so they can believe success is possible for them too. Right now. At this very moment. Your future is waiting. Not tomorrow. Not next year. Now. The future version of you is watching. Watching every choice. Watching every excuse. Watching every act of courage. And that future version is hoping you'll make the decision today. The decision to stop waiting. The decision to stop doubting. The decision to stop living beneath your potential. Because here's the truth. The life you want exists on the other side of consistent action. The confidence you want exists on the other side of keeping promises to yourself. The success you want exists on the other side of persistence. The transformation you want exists on the other side of responsibility. Nobody can walk that path for you. Nobody can make those choices for you. Nobody can become who you're meant to become except you. Years from now, you'll either thank yourself for starting today, or you'll wish you had. The difference between those two futures is a decision. One decision. One action. One commitment. Starting now. Remember this. Your future is being built by the choices you make today. The difference between who you are and who you could become is what you do after watching this video. Nobody is coming to save you. But the moment you decide to save yourself, everything changes. So take the first step. Make the call. Start the business. Write the first page. Go to the gym. Learn the skill. Apply for the opportunity. Face the fear. Do the thing you've been avoiding. Because 1 year from now, you'll wish you had started today. And today is still yours.